It's giveaway time. Hi, my name's Carol. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, it's nice to see you. And if you have been here before, welcome back. Lovely to have you joining us today. Okay, so I'm going to be making these wonderful Stardust earrings today. And I'm going to be giving away a kit to make them, or you could have the earrings, up to you. What you need to do is watch to the end of the video, and then I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to win the kit. Okay, let's get started. To make these earrings, you're going to need some 4mm Stardust beads. These are metal beads and they've been painted with this sparkly finish, and they come in a mix of pastel colours. You'll need 132 of them, and we're going to sort them into different colours, so I'll tell you exactly how many you need of each colour in a minute. You'll need 14 5cm head pins. You need some 20 gauge wire. I've got two pieces about 10 centimetres long here, but you need about 15 centimetres all up. These two pieces I had cut from another project, so I just used those. And you'll need some chain. This is a twist cable chain, and I've got here two pieces, 6.5 centimetres each. And you can make sure they're the same size by counting the links. And lastly, you'll need some 19mm twist ear wires. As far as tools are concerned, you will need a pair of flush cutters. You will also need either a pair of round nose pliers or a one-step looper. And you'll need some chain nose pliers. So let's have a look at the beads to start with and how many you'll need of each colour. As I said, you'll need 132 beads in total. You'll need 28 of the blue ones. You'll need 28 of the purple, 46 of these yellowy, greeny gold colours, and you will need 14 of the orange and 16 of the silver. So we'll start just by threading the beads on, 2 blue, 2 purple, and then the 5 of yellow, and lastly the orange one. So that's what I have now. Next we're going to make a loop in the top, and we're going to do that by, I'm going to put my thumbnail on top of the bead, the last bead, and I'm actually just going to bend the wire over the top of my thumbnail so that it's at a right angle. Now if you haven't made a loop before, I suggest you go and watch my how to make a basic loop video, and that will tell you all of the things you need to do to make a perfect loop. So I'm actually going to trim a little bit off the end of this because it's a little bit long for the size of loop that I want to make, and to do that I'm going to hold both ends of the wire so that it doesn't fly away, and I'm using the flush side of my cutters, not the indented side. And I'm just going to, as I said, hold both ends and snip. Now it's important when you cut wire to do that, to hold both ends so that it doesn't fly away and hit someone in the eye or, you know, get stuck in someone's foot. Okay, so using my round nose pliers, I'm going to make a loop. Now what I'm doing here is I am holding the wire between the jaws of my round nose pliers. And I'm not sure whether you can see it, but I've actually got a mark here on my pliers, which I've scratched on, and that's generally the size loop that I like to make. So holding the wire between the jaws, and I want to make sure that it's not sticking up, which mine is just a fraction. So you can rub your finger over it and you can't really feel it. And the reason for that is so that it will close nicely at the other end. So I've got the wire between the jaws of my pliers, and I'm just going to twist my hand, just holding the beads between my thumb and my forefinger. I'm going to twist my hand away from me as far as my wrist will go. Then I'm going to remove the pliers, and I'm going to put that loop on this bottom jaw again, like that. and then I'm going to twist some more. Sometimes you might need to adjust your pliers a little bit just to get that nice loop. There's my loop. Now you can see it's slightly off center, so I'm actually going to take my chain nose pliers and just give it a bit of a tweak, just holding it between the jaws of my pliers like that and just moving my beads. And it's not quite closed, so I'll just give it a little bit more of a tweak. Okay, so there's my first loop, and that's the center of my earring. Next I'm going to do the side pieces, and I'll lay those beads out again in the order that they are going to go on. So I've got 2 blue ones, I've got 2 of the purple, got 4 of the yellow, and 1 of the orange. So once again, it's exactly the same thing. I'm going to put the beads on in the order that I've laid them out. Before I make my loop, I'm just going to double check that that is right. So we're aiming to have the orange beads at the same level and the bottom blue bead to be 1 bead shorter than the previous one. So that works. Now this time I'm actually going to use my 1-step looper to make my loops. Great invention, this one. So to use a 1-step looper, what you do is you put the wire through the jaws here and out the back of the plier. Now this hole, my wire isn't long enough to go out this hole, but it's going into it on the inside, so that's all that matters. And then you just squeeze. And what it does is it cuts it and it makes the loop at the same time. Okay. Now my loop isn't quite closed, so I'm just going to take my chain nose pliers and hold it on the side there and just give it a wee wiggle. If I was going to be opening my loops again, I wouldn't do that yet, but I'm not going to be in this case. They're going to be closed forever now. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3, we're going with 2 of the blues, 2 of the purples. This time we're having 3 of the green and 1 orange. So you can see here the only thing that changes between the dangles is the number of the yellow beads. And I'm going to make a loop in the end. So this time I've got a little bit more wire, so it is almost sticking through the end there. And there's the piece I cut off, and there's my loop, and I'll just use my chain nose pliers just to fully close the loop. So holding it at the side there and just wiggling it up and down with a little bit of pressure until it closes perfectly. Right. So now I just have 1 more on this side. Straighten this head pin, it's a little bit wiggly. That happens. So this time 2 of the blue again, 2 of the purple, 2 of the yellow, and 1 of the orange. So there we go, and just make my loop. And close it, just like we did before. All right, so that's the first side of the earring. Now we need to repeat these 3 pieces to make the other side. Now I've finished all of my dangles. One thing I did forget to tell you is that it's important to make sure that there's no space on the head pin before the loop, because you want them all to hang at the right level, and you need them to be exactly the same size. So next we're going to make the top part, and I'm going to do that with my 20 gauge wire, and I'm going to start by putting a loop in the end. Now if I didn't have my one-step looper, I'd do it in exactly the same manner as I did with the other loops. And once again I'm going to close that loop up. And I'm going to start with a silver bead. Then I'm going to thread on one of my dangles and just alternate. It's very pretty with the colours, all the soft pastel colours. Now if I was going to be making a loop, I would bend it over my thumb and I would trim the wire, but I'm going to use my one-step looper, so all I'm going to do is thread that through. And this time I need to make sure that I pull it quite firmly so that there's no gaps between these beads here. But I don't want to do that. You can see here I've popped the bead inside the jaws, and we don't want to do that. So we take it out. All right. Now before I put my piece of chain on, I'm going to find the center of this and put the ear wire on, because it's easier than trying to do it once it's on. So taking the ear wire, now if you have seen these twist ear wires before, they open, the loop at the bottom opens on the inside part, not the outside. So I'll just flip it over and I'll take my chain nose pliers, hold the loop on the side. You should never open a loop that way because you want it to stay round. We open it up and down. So holding the loop on the side like that with my pliers, holding the ear wire between my thumb and my forefinger, all I'm going to do is twist my hand away, so therefore twisting the piece of wire up. And then I am going to find the center of my loop. Of my chain. So the best way to do that is to count the links. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I've got an even number. So I'm actually going to lose one of the links off the end so that I've got an odd number. So I'm just going to cut that one off. So now I've got 15, so my center one will be number 8. So we'll count them again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to take my ear wire and put it on that number 8 link there. All right. And before I do up the loop, I actually just want to make sure, test, and you can do that just by lying it down there. Right, now holding the chain out of the way, I'm going to close my ear hook loop again, and I'm going to do that by once again holding it on the side and basically reversing what I did before. So the ear hook between my thumb and my forefinger, and this time moving my hand up and the pliers down. I'll just give it a wiggle so that it's all nice and tightly closed. Okay, so you can see how nicely that's going to hang. All right, the last thing we're going to do is attach the chain to the ear wire, to the earring component, and I'm going to do that by opening one of my loops. I'm going to hook the chain on and reverse that process, so this time rotating down and just making sure that it's nice and tightly closed so there's no loop, no space there in between the loop and the stem. All right, and I just need to repeat that on the other side. If it's twisted, it will never hang properly, so just want to untwist that chain. There we go. and I'm just going to pop it on. I found that the easiest way to do this is actually to lie it down on rather than holding it in the air. So popping that on the loop there at the end, and I'm going to just pushing that chain out of the way. I'm just going to close it the same way, so on the side, up and down until it's closed. Okay, and there's my earring. Now of course you need to repeat it for a second earring, just exactly the same process, and there you have a nice pair of Stardust earrings. If you would like to win a kit to make these earrings, all you need to do is subscribe to my channel, like the video and ring the bell, and also comment below. This competition is available worldwide, so no matter where you are in the world, I will ship it to you should you win. So thanks for watching today and have a great day.